Boot it up, don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moody, that's okay. Coffee's loading, brain still lagged. Luna's laughing, Techie's tagged. We're logging in with Luna and Techie. Tech talks funny and slightly sketchy. Glitches, giggles, updates to an events. Logging in, brought to you, system ready, slightly unstable. You're logging in, 444, boredom not found. You're logging in, best show around.
Okay, we're starting up episode 4, and pretty much like everybody's here right now.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. Let's just kind of give a summary of just everything so it makes sense. We're in the. This is logging in, by the way. Luna and Techie here, and essentially, we're in the middle of a. I don't know. I would call it a snowstorm.
Something is like very, very wrong.
It just. Well, that's what I was gonna say.
It's okay.
It's snowing out. I've got a broken toe. My back went out yesterday. We got this big computer system. I don't even know what you would call it. A monitor. What is it? A storage computer mobile system that we had to carry in. Just like everything possible that could be happening is all happening at once. And yesterday was Cyber Monday, and essentially Shopify went down. And it went down really bad to the point where administrators were not able to go in. And I think that started around 9 a.m.
Did they ever figure out what happened?
No, they haven't said a word.
Interesting.
No, so the administration section went down, checkout went down. Supposedly some people were able to make purchases, but others weren't. I mean, this is the largest sales day for small businesses. And it went down completely in a global outage. That just, I don't know. And the thing is that essentially when it came to Shopify being down, anybody that wrote anything in asking about what's going on with Shopify, they basically received a generic message from Shopify saying that they were well aware that things were down. It's like, well, that's great. And honestly, from what I've been seeing, is that everything didn't come back on until around, I think it was 11:11 on December 2nd.
At night?
No, now.
Oh, right now.
Right now.
That's crazy.
Like literally, and the only reason why I know it's because we're helping somebody else with a Shopify store right now as we speak, and I wasn't able to access all the panels I needed to access until 11:11.
Very interesting.
Right. Going with your woo-woo stuff, and you can explain the 11:11 part, but yeah, so 12/2, 11:11.
I don't know, I just keep feeling like somebody was messing with it.
Yeah, so tell me your thoughts on this.
Trying to affect the economy or something, I don't know. I mean, these kinds of things keep happening where like they'll have issues like this and nobody will say anything about what happened or why.
Yeah.
And it's like, people want answers. I mean, I understand the need to investigate, but like, it comes across almost as even worse when they don't give information about what's happening.
Yeah. And the thing is, because of what took place, Shopify stock went down from 157 all the way down to 149. But anybody that purchased at 149 today is now seeing Shopify stock at 158.
Why the jump?
Well, the jump down was people were panic selling because Shopify was
Right.
down.
So it's back up to like what it normally should be right now?
Yeah, it restored back during that glitch, which basically means that, and I wasn't thinking of it at the time, there was a Cyber Monday sale taking place on Shopify stock.
That's disturbing.
Just think about that. Because again, if we're looking at how many points as of this taping, it's up 8.37 points. It went up $8.37. So if you ended up going and purchasing 100 shares, then you basically made $800.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about that. I don't know, going into your whole idea of somebody playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we can, I don't know. But basically on further research, Shopify uses Google Cloud. They don't use the Amazon Cloud or the Microsoft Azure system. So again, we're seeing all these cloud companies are all just falling apart. I was hoping not to talk about a story concerning cloud-based problems again, but here we are. Like, I don't know.
Seems like a regular thing these days.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, like, some of these sites are going and mentioning about just Shopify alternatives. So Hostinger, I think it is, Hostinger, ended up coming out with a deal, trying to go in to say to people, hey, you're having trouble with your Shopify, use our site instead, and they put out a discount code. But, I mean, that's normal business. You see your competitors down, you just jump on it. Why not? If any of that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fact that Shopify was down at this time period means that there's millions, if not billions of dollars that possibly ended up not taking place, especially if people's checkout isn't working, because, I mean, Shopify is not only used online, but some people use Shopify to go and to sell even at a cafe, tea, coffee, etc. So I don't know what these businesses did during Cyber Monday.
I mean, I find it very suspicious because of the day of it happening. Like, at one point in the day, you're like, oh, maybe it's just the system, got over, too much traffic. But I don't know. Like, it's also interesting in the context of you're saying small businesses. Like, is somebody trying to get people to, give money to big businesses instead, or like, or somehow shift whatever economic pattern is happening, for numbers, because, like, I feel like people buy a lot on Cyber Monday, and then kind of afterwards, it's like, okay, we're done, or, like, they're shopped out.
Yeah.
So it's like, by the time, if this thing came back online this morning, like, are people still throwing money at it, or do they just kind of move on? Like, I feel like some of those small businesses might work on, like, impulse buys, right?
Yeah.
So if people are not in the impulse mindset, then are they still acting like it's Cyber Monday?
No, it was...
Because isn't it like Giving Tuesday or something? Like,
yeah, it's supposedly Giving Tuesday, but it's really messed up when you think about it. And here's the other thing that's really, really, really funny, is that Harvey Finkelstein, who is the president, posted, and everybody's wondering...
President of what?
Of Shopify.
Yeah.
Posted, in all caps, Happy Cyber Monday, let's finish strong. In which case, all these merchants were just writing, how we can't fulfill basic orders or log on. How do you, like, what is this?
It's really sad.
So, was that post pre-scheduled?
Yeah, probably.
Right, or was the president
Which I feel like
completely
is, like-
unaware that there was a dumpster fire
Right.
taking place within their own company?
Which I feel like makes them look even worse if it was I mean, like, I know everybody does that, but it's like not being aware of what's happening at the time and adapting to it.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that, like, we're even discussing with some of our own clients and stuff of pre-scheduling out some social media, and the problem is that sometimes you're gonna have to remember what you've pre-scheduled in case it doesn't feel like a good
I
look.
think especially in this world now, like, it's ironic because everybody's so busy and things are moving so fast that you almost have to pre-schedule things. But also everything's moving so fast that, like, you can't predict what's going to happen day to day.
Yeah.
In a way where we used to be like, okay, more or less we're in kind of a homeostasis and, like, we're not going to have, like, any major news or anything right now, Now it's like every day another bombshell. You never know what you're going to be up against.
We don't know what's happening from day to day when you think about it. So here's the other thing that people are angry about. Shopify happens to have a newsroom for the press. And the only story that's listed today for December 2nd, 2025 is Shopify merchants generate record-breaking $14.6 billion in Black Friday Cyber Monday sales.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So once again, was that, like, pre-written? Or are they actually reflecting what happened on Black Friday? Because obviously yesterday nothing happened, right?
Not as much. Because it's the article's saying our merchants just made history generating a record $14.6 billion in sales over Black Friday / Cyber Monday, which they're calling BFCM, up 27% from last year. As sales banners lit up and products sold out, 81 plus million customers around the world brought from business powered by Shopify. And along the way, many discovered new products, built genuine connections with the brands they love, and shopping peaked at 12:01 p.m. Eastern on Friday when sales reached a dizzying 5.1 million per minute.
That's crazy.
Right.
And the other thing we keep talking about is where are people finding money for this?
I don't know.
It's like, I mean, money's tight right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's able to find jobs.
Yeah.
And then like the whole SNAP thing and everything like that. Like, is everybody just in a sort of give up state of mind, or what?
It just feels awkward and weird. Because they're like, independent businesses are taking center stage and blah, 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 blah. And they're just like talking about all these different facts and figures and stuff. And it's just, again, very amusing when you think about all these different highlights that essentially people are angry.
It's like everybody's pretending that the economy is amazing.
Yeah.
When, like, you know, it's gaslighting, right? Like, you're living it and you're like, this is not right.
Right.
And they're telling you it's awesome. And it's been like that for the past 10 years, right?
Yep. And then you've got literally Shopify Engineering tweeting out that the Black Friday Cyber Monday scale of global commerce surge at peak. We process 11 terabytes of logs per minute. Again, they're combining Black Friday and Cyber Monday together.
Right.
Is that a PR move, realizing that they messed up?
It's interesting.
Like, what is this? What are they doing here with this particular post? And this was posted, by the way, on December 2nd at 10:35 a.m., a little bit before my independent finding of 11:11 a.m.
But that's why I suspect the pre-written kind of thing here, because otherwise they would have had to address what happened yesterday. Like, isn't it interesting? Nobody's addressing that. I'm not seeing any like headlines or anything showing up on my screen. Like,
yeah,
I'm not seeing anything about it. I don't watch the news, obviously, so I don't know.
Maybe they're discussing it. Maybe.
But I find interesting how silent it is.
Yeah, and again, like, it's funny. Now, Shopify just refreshed the data. It's now up 9.25 points, so it's at 158.54.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're looking at potentially, if you went and purchased it at its low, when it was in this whole mess, 100 shares, you would be up $925. Mm-hmm. And I'm only saying these big amounts of 100 shares because I'm thinking about these large institutions that probably took full advantage of this being down.
And was it that, right? Like, you know, let's make the market go down so that we can buy in and, you know, make money off of it.
I mean, that's
which is also, like, it sounds like very conspiratorial, but, like, really.
It really feels it.
These days, I just don't know anymore.
Well, everything is a conspiracy nowadays.
No, but really, like, you just wonder.
Yeah. Do you have anything more to add about Shopify? Because we basically have 1 minute and 30 seconds before we get to water cooler time. 2 minutes, actually.
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Because we have to fill this time now.
We could talk about, like, you know, Thanksgiving was interesting.
Yeah, we can talk about Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
I mean, given, you know, we do things very small. I think a lot of people these days do, but it was very interesting because, you know, usually we go to family for, like, a, you know, very, very small thing, and my mom had a cold that day, so we ended up, like, doing it a few days later. So we kind of did, like, a really, really, really small thing by ourselves, you know, just our kids. And we went out, you know, we drove to, like, a hiking place in the middle of the day, and it was interesting just watching the neighborhoods and what people were doing. I didn't see, like, very many houses with, like, tons of cars like you usually see on Thanksgiving.
True.
You know, every once in a while I saw somebody, like, sitting out there with, like, Christmas decorations, like, all by themselves. Like,
yep.
It was very, like, solemn and...
dystopian.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, no, I was kind of curious about that myself.
So I don't know if any of that feeds into this, but, like, it just felt very, like, backwards. And then I think, were we talking about this last week, how, like, all the sales last week were like the beginning of the week, and
Yeah.
then like by Thanksgiving it was just silence for a few days.
At least on my end, you were seeing the small businesses. Shopify was essentially going in advertising.
Right, but again, it was the beginning of the week, and then it kind of like went to a lull around Thanksgiving, and then they kind of like got back into it for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Right.
But again, like along with the actual day, it was just not the usual pattern.
And with that, we should probably head off to the water cooler.
That's fine.
All right, cool. We'll see you on the other end.
All right, everybody, this is Callie Girl, and the water cooler has officially logged in. I've got about 10 minutes before someone says, let's hop on a call. So let's start with what happened outside the office while we were all pretending to be productive. The Trump administration ordered U.S. migration officers to pause all asylum decisions after the deadly shooting involving 2 National Guard soldiers in Washington, D.C. The suspect, an Afghan man who entered the U.S. in 2021 and received asylum earlier this year, triggered an immediate freeze impacting asylum cases from all nationalities. The U.S. CIS officers were told not to approve, deny, or even close cases, and in-person appointments for decisions were canceled. Officers could still conduct interviews, they just can't finish the job. So basically, the government version of starting laundry and leaving it in the washer for 3 days. The pause is indefinite, and it also includes Afghan applicants who arrived under the Operation Allies Welcome. Thousands of cases are now stuck in limbo while DHS reviews past asylum approvals from the Biden administration. And speaking of hitting pause instead of answering the question, during Thanksgiving remarks, President Trump lashed out at CBS reporter Nancy Cordes, asking her, "Are you a stupid person?" after she noted the DOJ said Afghans were thoroughly vetted before entering the U.S. This comes after his earlier moment calling another reporter, "Quiet piggy," on Air Force One. So let's just say the president is on a press tour of not liking the press. The shooter in the recent D.C. attack had actually worked with the U.S. forces in Afghanistan and entered the country under a vetted refugee program. But Trump maintains Biden let him in, doubling down during the tense exchange. It was Thanksgiving. Most people fought over who overcooked the mac and cheese, but the president fought with a microphone. And since the international tension clearly wasn't enough, let's fly south for winter or not fly at all. President Trump took to Truth Social to warn airlines, pilots, and, quote, criminal networks that Venezuelan airspace should be treated as completely closed. There's only one issue. The U.S. can't actually shut down another country's skies. The warning came as part of Trump's escalating pressure campaign to push President Nicolas Maduro out of power. Venezuelan officials called the move a colonist threat and said it's illegal and baseless, which is diplomatic language for absolutely not. The FAA had already issued a hazard warning for flights over Venezuela, but President Trump's message essentially raised the stakes. Meanwhile, he also acknowledged signing off on CIA operations inside the country and even labeled Maduro and his allies as members of a foreign terrorist organization. He hinted that land strikes could come soon. So yeah, it's giving season finale cliffhanger energy. And speaking of disasters no one saw coming, let's head over to Hong Kong, where tragedy and public anger are reaching new heights. Hong Kong is facing the deadliest fire in more than 70 years. The blaze that tore through 7 high-rise buildings in Tai Po has now claimed 146 lives and nearly 150 still missing. The fire spread rapidly due to scaffolding wrapped in flammable insulation and protective netting, materials residents had already filed complaints about last year. They were told the buildings carried low fire risk. Clearly, that assessment didn't age well. The smell of smoke still lingers as families gather outside the blackened towers, laying flowers and notes for loved ones. Authorities say 44 bodies still need identification. Meanwhile, arrests are piling up. Construction directors, engineers, engineering consultants, scaffolding subcontractors, even corrupt suspects tied to the renovation project. A university student who started a petition for an independent investigation was also detained. Residents want answers. Officials are giving detours. And from real flames to parade floats, a shift, but a lot of things floating around. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade went full millennial nostalgia this year. Fans got Mario, Pac-Man, Stranger Things, Shrek, and even K-pop Demon Hunters. Performers included Ciara, Busta Rhymes, Tiana Taylor, and Lil Jon turning all the way up on the Toys R Us float. But while the street had vibes, embassy viewers had complaints, loud ones. Many said the broadcast felt like commercials interrupted by tiny bits of the parade. Reddit was full of comments like, respectfully, show me the balloons, and others asking why NBC is the only network covering it. Some recommended switching to the AP live stream, which gave a camera, a curb, and just the parade. No commentary, no cutaways, no host, and no awkward jokes. And then there was Shaggy performing It Wasn't Me for the children. He skipped the spicy lyrics, but still imagine hearing Getting Caught Red-Handed right before Santa shows up. Now, from parades to Mac chaos, let's slide over to New York where fast food needed fast security. A Queens McDonald's hired a McBouncer. Yes, that's the official, unofficial title, to control large groups of rowdy teens storming the restaurant after school. The employee, Claudia Zanabria, says she's the toughest one there. And honestly, her resume probably just says, can handle anything. Police have been called to this location 15 times this year. Now, teens are banned from dining inside between 2 and 4 p.m. unless they have an adult. Claudia checks mobile orders at the door, and if they didn't order ahead, they can come inside one at a time under watch. And while McDonald's is dealing with teams, Hollywood is dealing with a comeback no one had on their 2025 bingo card. Rush Hour finally got the green light almost 20 years after the last movie, and apparently President Trump personally pushed for it behind the scenes. The film will bring back director Brett Ratner, whose career stalled after multiple women accused him of SA misconduct. Ratner has denied the allegations, but Hollywood moved on without him until now. No official word on whether Jackie Chan or Chris Tucker are returning, but the president reportedly advocated on behalf of Ratner to get the movie approved, which is quite a use of presidential influence. While everyone was expecting policy, instead we got movie production notes. Ay, ay, ay. And speaking of returns to Hollywood, someone else just stepped behind the camera. Melania Trump announced she's launching her own production studio, Muse Films, and the first project is a documentary titled Melania. A trailer dropped showing behind-the-scenes footage of her preparing to re-enter public life ahead of inauguration. Brett Ratner is directing, which means yes, he's now involved in 2 major Trump world-adjacent productions within the same month. The documentary releases in theaters January 30th, then hits Prime Video. So, if you ever wondered what reality TV meets political comeback looks like, this might be it. And lastly, let's end with some sports. The Cowboys are heating up after back-to-back wins. They're riding high after 2 huge victories revived their season. They beat the Chiefs 31-28 on Thanksgiving and celebrated with turkey legs like it was a Super Bowl buffet. Dak Prescott threw for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns, while CeeDee Lamb delivered a game-changing 51-yard catch in the final drive. The Cowboys are now above .500 for the first time this season and have won 3 straight for the first time since 2023. Jerry Jones even gave interviews holding his turkey leg. When your owner won't put down the drumstick to talk to the media, yeah, that's confidence. Dallas now has wins over both Super Bowl teams from last season, and suddenly the energy in Texas feels very don't count us out yet. And that's what was circling the news cycle, or at least the part I had energy to scroll through. This is Callie Girl with the water cooler. When I get more updates, I'll log back in. Now excuse me while I look busy on purpose.
Okay, back from the water cooler. And are you ready for more dystopian news?
I don't know, am I?
You're gonna have to, because that's basically what we're discussing now.
Right.
Do you know what's coming up in February?
No.
The Olympics. The
Okay.
Winter Olympics.
And where is that?
Italy.
Okay.
Okay. So the question ends up being, where exactly does this have to do with technology and our whole show? What if I told you that basically in Massachusetts there are two pretty much college kids created an AI system for NBC to go and to help with the judging of figure skating, because figure skating is super controversial.
Oh no. You mean they're gonna judge using AI?
Yes.
Like using an AI system, or like pointing
Yes.
a camera and making AI do all the work?
Yes.
Which one?
All the above.
Oh.
So essentially right now line judges in tennis are gone because AI has basically taken over that. And what the whole thing is this system again that was requested by NBC was more so for the reporters and commentary, but the US Olympic Committee saw it and they were like, oh, let's actually use this so that we know what's going on. And in addition, what they're starting to say is that there were certain movements, which is like how high someone jumped, or did they go and complete a certain amount of rotations, that really a human eye is not really good at. But the human eye is better at determining, did it fulfill what's basically known as the feels of, was it artistic enough? Did it do the human elements that you're looking for the performance? So the app is called Oof. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why it's called Oof Skate is because after various skaters would do their performance of what they thought was a proper amount of spins, they would then go and find out from the AI that they were wrong, and they would promptly then say oof.
From the AI or from the...
No, the human. The human would say oof as in like...
No, but I'm saying like the AI would say that they didn't have enough spins and then
Yes.
the human would say oof.
Yes. So like for example, a triple Lutz, they might, to the human eye, it looks like they did 3 full turns, but the AI would go and say like, no, it's not a triple Lutz because they didn't land on the correct blade, or they didn't do the right amount of rotations, etc., etc.
I think this is really sad. He's too nitpicky, and I think it's going to drive people out of the sport. You know, who should be in it. Because you can't, like...
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You can't judge this stuff from a computer. I mean, that's just too much. I think of like other things in life that have gotten like stricter and stricter and more exacting over the years just because technology enables it, and it has not improved life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really hasn't.
Yeah. So for ABC News, what they did is that a figure skater performed a quad toe loop, which is a 4-revolution jump where the skater launches from the back outside edge of their blade with the help of a toe pick from the other foot. I'm reading that right from ABC News because I don't know enough about this. But they're claiming that the jump is the easiest of skating's 6 primary jumps, but 4 revolutions considers upping the difficulty. And to a human watching, it was landed perfectly. However, the camera AI, the OOF system that was watching, said that it was a 1/4 revolution too short.
It's just not right. I don't feel good about this one at all.
And this means
it's one thing, like, I always say, like, using AI like a tool, like, to make the videos of the event better or something like that, but to actually score people using some AI recording system is just, I don't know, I don't feel good about that.
well, they're saying it's going to make a difference because the sport uses tenths and even hundredths of a point. And for some reason, the skaters are appreciative of the feedback. But what's really interesting, because there's been so many controversies in skating where skaters that should have gotten a gold medal end up with a silver, and then they realize, oh, they messed up after they review the footage. And then they're like, okay, now we have to give out 2 gold medals, but then is that fair to the person who's getting the gold medal to find out that they really should have gotten silver, but they're getting a gold medal because the human had an error?
Yeah, that system isn't good either. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I feel like for an art, and we talk about art in AI sometimes too, like, skating is a sport, but it's also an art, and like, you know, there's also like an element of grace and like just stuff that a computer can't quantify.
Well, I mean, just so the audience knows, Luna used to be a dancer, so I mean, like, what would you say from here?
I was very, very amateur, but I mean, I know like, you know, I did it sort of like for, you know, I don't know, for sport or exercise or just getting energy out. I did it from when I was like 4 to like 17, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I was doing it like once a week. There were other kids, you know, in the school I was in who were competing and, you know, in there like 3 or 4 times a week. You know, and they would go to dance competitions and like, I think of in that world, I don't know how the skating world is, but like, some, you know, like, they always joke about like dance moms being like vicious and, you know, it's like high stress, high drama as it was.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you add something like this in and it's just gonna be super toxic. I don't know. I mean, like, what if the computer's glitching? Like, then you're like, it's even worse because you can't argue with the computer the same way you can argue with a person.
No, but you can rewatch the video and go frame by frame and find out if the computer
can.
is right or not.
Right, you can, but I'm saying, like, I feel like a judge or somebody would, like, use that as evidence. I mean, think like what we're dealing with insurance, right?
Well, they need to
Like,
know. They don't know.
Right, well, we're dealing with bad faith insurance claim on our house. We've been dealing with it for like 2.5 years now, and like, you know, you have insurance like making their arguments, and you know, our policy stating the opposite. So I don't know how much that relates, but I think
it relates greatly because
you know
I mean they're
think?
going to use AI to go in to determine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, you know, we're in a situation where frankly we need human like compassion to be like, you know, we are a family and we need this fixed. Like, we need this fixed yesterday. Like, you know, we did our due diligence and reported it and took pictures and videos and everything like that, and we're not being given the same grace, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I think of it, and I don't know how much we're using AI in that now. I think, like, from when we started this situation to now, AI has become more prevalent too, right? So there's that. But I think also of, like, people who have had their insurance policies canceled because of like drones going over their roof and being like, oh, your roof isn't good enough, and like all of a sudden out of nowhere, you know.
Speaking about trespassing in the air.
Right, like, you know, unfortunately with our situation, we were dealing with trespassing with somebody who was appointed by insurance without our consent, you know, and like, and that's a yucky situation. They're using that basically as part of this whole picture, but like, at the end of the day, that was a human, you know, who should have been, you know, being more responsible and, like, you know, more ethical or whatever. But our side is having to kind of, you know, go against the human, right? I wouldn't want to be going against a robot.
Right, but here's the thing that they're arguing, is that there's certain parts of skating which there literally are facts of you went this high.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. But it probably feels good to skaters now. But again, like, I see how these music competitions and things have gone, right? Like, you know, what's that going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, when, you know, people who are trying to get ahead on whatever level, like, don't have the chance because they've been ruled out so fast by AI.
Right, because AI's like, you have not reached the designated height that you need to reach to be able to perform said tricks.
Right.
So as a result, and as a result, like, people who were able to go and to figure out a way to make a human think that they hit a certain height, but they didn't.
Right.
I mean, I don't know
just
enough
saying,
about
like,
figure skating.
I'm just saying, I feel like, you know, it's very easy in this situation to lose the human compassion element, right? Because let's say you're looking, you know, and I don't know how this works, but like, you know, if you have somebody who's considering taking a skater on as a student or whatever, right? You know, I would think there would be a different experience of that from the eye versus a computer, right? So, you know, somebody comes to you and like, oh, I see potential in you because of your style, right? Versus, oh, you didn't make the numbers, so you're not worth my time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that, and I don't know if that world necessarily works that way, but like, there really is like, well, I'll go back to the dance things. I know you want me to. Like, again, I was never the most flexible. I was always a bit clumsy, right? But from having done it from such a young age to, you know, early adulthood, I did develop a certain kind of grace that some people didn't because I had been doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of thing that and somebody with the right eye would have been able to notice, but a computer would have been like, oh, you're too clumsy, right? You know,
Yeah.
not that I should have gone to a dance career or anything. That wasn't really my intention by that age, but like, you know, but that's something that I recognized then and I still appreciate now in dancers from having gone through that kind of evolution that a computer never would have picked up on.
But also your flexibility is amazing.
Right, but it's like, but again, I'm nowhere near as flexible as, you know, some other people were. I developed a lot of endurance from that and like patience and, you know, and all kinds of things. But again, these are kinds of things that you can't measure from a computer.
Right.
Right?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, hold on. You can keep talking.
Well, no, so what I was going to say is just kind of thinking about all this and where AI is going. Again, there are certain things that if they can go and they can solve particular arguments when it comes to height and all these different things that judges essentially they're supposed to rule a certain way. I mean, I can see it, but I can also see exactly what you were mentioning about of just it being a very slippery slope. And we start off with maybe height and rotations, and then who knows where we're gonna end up going with all of this. It could end up being a problem. And then the other thing that I'm thinking about is like, it's the Olympics. So now are you requiring all the countries to have some type of AI system? Because I mean, this particular AI system, again, like the two people that ended up building it, when they graduated, one went to Columbia and one went to the MIT Sports Lab. And as a result, they're now, again, working on this particular element where sports and AI is being combined together in a very unique way. So that's all I got to say on that.
I'd also be concerned about, you know, again, like with the roof thing, getting down to like measuring inches, you know?
Inches, yeah? I did not think about that.
But that's where, hey, where's your shippy? That's where, in a computer sense, like it just gets to be a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You know, because you think about like how many famous skaters have probably, you know, not met those inch requirements. Like,
Yeah. Well, either these inch requirements are going to go and motivate the next level of skating, or it's going to discourage those that could have become the next big thing. I mean, I hate to bring up like New England Tom Brady, but he was not looked upon as the best football player. And
that's the problem I have with this is like, you know, I think even of where things have evolved to this point, right?
Yep.
You know, getting a job used to be, you know, you knew somebody, or you know, you happened to get your resume into the right hands or something like that, right? Like there was a certain element of like luck and like, you know, maybe you didn't have to be, you know, have like a graduate degree to like, you know, get a job at a fast food restaurant or something, right? Like, you know, if you're, and that's become harder and harder over the years, you know, having computers review these resumes and, you know, does it say whatever degree on it? Well, nope, okay, cross it off, move on, right?
no human element.
Right, and it rules out everybody in the end, and then you end up like, people can't advance to where they need to advance to because they're not given the chance.
And then they end up trying to opening up a store because they're trying to get ahead, and then Shopify goes down on Cyber Monday, and it's all one
too.
big thing.
You just can't get ahead.
I guess that's pretty much it. We have to log out. It's the end.
Yeah.
Final words.
I don't think so.
Yeah, let's log out. Bye.
Don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moving.